Hi everyone, my name is Grace. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and on this channel I share sewing tutorials and DIYs. In today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to make this simple play suit with a flared shirt. So if you are interested in making a flared shirt or a play suit or the combination of the both like the one I have on, then this tutorial is for you. Don't also forget to subscribe to this channel, and if this is something that you are interested in, then let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to be using a pattern paper to draft the flared short parts of this flare suit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to waste fabric, and this is going to help me to not waste my fabric. So I'm going to be doing the drafting on a pattern paper first. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing on this pattern paper is to take off about 5 inches from the edges of the pattern paper, just like you see me doing here like this. So from the top edge I'm going to take 5 inches away, and I'll connect those lines together. And also on the side edge I'm going to do the same thing, just the way you see me doing it. And I'm just going to do this all the way down on both edges of the pattern paper. So just connect those lines that you have and do that all the way to the edge of your paper, because you're going to be needing it at a length. So on this part of the pattern paper, I actually added extra pattern paper to it. I don't know if you can see that from what I'm doing, but I added more to it because I'm going to be needing it to be long, and that side is not as long as the first side. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that on this edge, I'm going to be taking my waist measurement divided by 3, and my waist measurement divided by 3 is 10 inches. So I'm going to take the measurement like that round from that corner. So I'm just taking that 10 inches and I'm going to connect those points together. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and take the measurement of the full length of my shirt. So I'm going to be taking the measurement of how long I want this shirt to be, and that should be around 20 inches. So I'll mark 20 inches. For me, I want to make use of 20 inches. You can make yours longer and you can make yours shorter. So to get that 20 inches, now I'm just taking the measurement all the way from the top to the bottom. I think I will have like 30 inches together with that 10 inches I took earlier. So I'm just placing 30 inches from that top edge, but the original length is 20 inches. So I'm just doing this for ease. So I'm taking from the top at 30 inches, then I'm going to have just 20 inches as the length of the shirt. I hope you understand. So when I'm done taking that, I'm going to connect all my points together to give me that circle. So you can see what I'm saying, that I joined some pattern paper together at that area. So now when I'm done taking the full length, I'll go ahead and place my crouch depth measurement. So I'm starting from that place. I'm going to be placing my crouch depth measurement. My original crouch depth measurement is at 11 inches, but I'm adding 1 inch to this to make it 12, because this is going to be a play suit and we are adding an upper part to it. So I'm going to be dividing my 11 inches original crouch depth by 4, and I'm going to be marking it's just opposite the line that we marked now. So can you see? And I'll connect those lines with my ruler. So with this I'm going to get my crouch curve. So I'm just coming out by about 1 inch to get my crouch curve. So can you see? I just came out by about 1 inch and just curved it with my free hand. If you have your curved rule, you can make use of that. So I'm just taking the measurements that I have here, and I'm going to be subtracting about half an inch, and I'll use it to create the hem of this shorts like that. So we are done with this part. Now let's move to the next part. So on this other side, I'm also going to be repeating what I did on the first side by placing my crouch depth measurement at 12 inches and dividing my original crouch measurements by 4, which is 11 inches divided by 4, then extending my points and connecting those 2 points with my ruler, and also coming out by 1 inch and creating my crouch curve. So this is basically what I just did in on the first side. I'm repeating it here too. So I'll also take that measurement to get the M. When I take the measurement, I'm going to be minusing 1/2 inch, and I'll connect it to the end to get the M. So on this side that is going to serve as the waist, I'm coming up by about 1/2 inch. This is just like a seam allowance. So I'm just coming up by 1/2 inch and connecting those lines together. Now on this part is going to be serving as a back crouch depth. So this place is the front. I'm just going to be adding 1/2 inch all around, just like I did for the waistline. But on this back, I'm going to be adding about 1.5 inch. I'll add 1 inch first, and I'll add half more, and this is because the zipper is going to be on this back side. So, and also the back side of a pant is always bigger and wider than the front. So this is going to serve as the back, and that's going to serve as the front. So I already added a zipper allowance and a sewing allowance to the back also. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So just watch the way I'm tracing this out. As you can see, you cut it all the way. Be careful when you are cutting the back. So just go ahead and trace the lines. So for the back, note that we added an allowance for the zipper, and also an allowance to make it a little bit wider than the front, which is the normal thing when you are working on a pants, that the back will be wider than the front. So that allowance is just to make it a little bit wider. So now the next thing to do is to fold this into two. So when you're folding this into two, make sure that you leave that back allowance that makes it bigger than the front. So can you see the way I folded this? I folded it in a way that the front is smaller than the back. So I'll go ahead and trace this out. So we are here with both our front and the back patterns. So we're going to be using these two patterns to cut out our fabric. So this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of for this play suit, and I'm just going to be pinning down my pattern paper on the fabric after folding it right sides facing each other. So this is what I meant when I said this is going to save your fabric, because of course if you did that directly on the fabric, you are going to waste a whole lot of fabric. But you did it on the pattern paper, you are going to save a whole lot of fabric. So this is just me cutting around my fabric. Already added all the necessary allowance on the pattern paper, so there isn't any need to add allowances again while cutting. But at the down part, I think I added about 1 inch allowance because I felt it might be too short. Okay, so next I'm going to be cutting the one for the back also, but on this back part I'm going to be raising the waist area at the crouch side by 1.5 inch, and I'll connect it with a slant line to the other side. So I just raised the waist area by 1.5 inch and I connected it with a slant line, and I'll go ahead and cut this out. So raising it by that 1.5 inch is just for it to sit well on the buttocks, and if you are on a bigger side, you can use about like 2 inches or 2.5, but 1.5 inch is okay for people of my size. So I just went ahead to cut around this pattern, and I also added 1 inch to the dampers like I did in the front. So it's time to work on the upper part of this play suit, and I'm just going to be doing like a simple round neck top. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is to take my chest line measurement at 8 inches. If you don't know how to get that, just divide your bust measurement by 6 and add about 2 or 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to take my bust point measurement at 10 inches, and I'll also take my waistline measurement at 17 inches. So my original waistline measurement is about 16.5 inches, but I'm adding half an inch for the allowance to stitch it together. So on the neckline, I'm going to be taking my neck width at 3 inches and the neck depth at about 4 inches. So I'm just doing the normal round neck that we all know, and I'm going to be taking my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is at 8 inches. I'll place that 8 inches on my chest line and connect those two lines together. Then I'm going to come down from that shoulder line by 1 inch and get my shoulder slant connected to the neck area. And I'm also going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4 and place it on that chest line. Get the midpoint of that shoulder line, or of that armhole line rather, and connect those lines together as my armhole. So these are the normal things we do every day when we want to make a simple dress. So I'm just adding my allowances to chest line and also to the waistline. I'm sorry that the waistline is not showing. I didn't know it missed the camera point. So when I'm done with this, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. I also mark the place where I want my dart to be. My bust span measurement is 8 inches. That divided by 2 is 4, and I'm going to be using that as my nipple to nipple measurement. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out right now. So just cutting it. I'm cutting the armhole area, and also I'm going to cut the neck area. So as you can see, it's just a simple round neck, and I also cut out my shoulder slants. So yeah, this here is the front pattern of the upper part, and to go ahead and make the back part, I'm just going to fold my fabric again into 2 and place the front on it, creating a zipper allowance for the back. So I'm creating a zipper allowance of about just 1 or 1.5 inch, depending on how you want it. So I'm just pinning my front part on it, and on the neckline I just want something higher than the front a little bit. So I'm going to be using the neck depth of about 2 inches, and I'll use my chalk to mark out the area I want to cut. So I'll go ahead now. After pinning this down very well, I'll go ahead to cut my back parts out. So I'm just cutting from the waist area to the sides, to the armhole area, and also to the neck. So I'm cutting out the neck area right now. So as I'm cutting, I'm trying to arrange the front very well so that I won't make a mistake. And on this part, I'm just going to slash this into 2 because that place will serve as the zipper allowance. So this is both the front and the back. Now for the sleeve, I'm just going to be using a short sleeve, and that's it. And for the pocket area, I just folded this fabric into 4 like this, and I'm going to be using the width of 7 inches. So I marked the 7 inches like that, and I'm just covering it like the normal pockets that we know. So I'm just covering it, not too much drama, just cover it like a pocket, just like you see me doing it like this. And I'm going to be cutting off that part to make my pieces fall, as you can see. So these are the pieces that we are going to be using. I also cut turnings for both the front and the back, so that is what I'm going to be using to turn the neck area. Now it's time to join my pieces together, and I have my two front parts of the short here. So I'm going to be joining it at the crouch area with about half an inch. So when I was done joining it, this was what it looked like, and I opened it up for you to see. So the next thing is that I'm going to be working on the back parts, right sides facing each other too. I'm going to sew at that crotch area, but because the zipper is going to be on this side, I'm going to leave the area for zipper alone and sew the remaining side. So can you see how I sewed this and left about 1 inch for the zipper? So for the top area, I'm going to be going ahead now to place where my dart is going to be. So my bust pan measurement is 8 inches. That divided by 2 is 4. So I'm placing it on that part, and I'm just notching it to know where my dart is going to be. So I just went ahead to do my darts the normal way that we place the dart. So for the turning, I'm going to be placing the turning on the main fabric, right sides facing each other, and I'll turn that neck area. So I'll go ahead and turn this and stitch this down and turn it. So I also went ahead to give it some notches around that joining, and this is what it looks like. So it's just a simple round neck that I'm using for this. Also on the back, I'm going to do the same thing. I went ahead to put my darts and also to turn the neck area. So the next thing that I'll do now is to join both the top area and the flared short together. So I'm going to be placing the top to this pant side, and I'll sew it on the sewing machine with about half an inch. So when I was done sewing, this is what it looked like when I opened it up. Can you see? So I'll do the same thing on the back piece. So we have both the left and the right pieces for the back. So I'm going to be placing the area that is meant for the zipper allowance on the one that is going to the middle for the trouser, just the way I'm doing it like this. I hope you understand. So I'll go ahead and sew that area together with half an inch. So when I was done, this is what I have. So I've joined the back, both the front and the back up and down together. So I'm going to be placing my zipper. So I'm using an invisible zip for this play suit. So I'm going to be fixing my zipper on that zipper allowance area. And when I was done fixing the zipper, this was what it looks like. So can you see how nice this zipper is sitting? Then the next thing that I'm going to do now is to place my pockets where they are supposed to be. So from that waist area, I'll just come down by about 2 inches on each side. Then that's where the placement of my pocket is going to start. So I'm just placing my pockets right sides facing the main trouser on that side, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Then I'll go ahead and stitch it together with half an inch. So when I was done, this is what it looks like. So I did that on both the front and the back pieces. So can you see that it's making sense already? So it's time to join both the front and the back together. So I'm placing the back piece on the front piece, right sides facing each other, and the first place that I'm going to be joining is this crouch area. So I'm going to be placing them, making sure that those stitches at the crouch area match each other, and I'll go ahead to the sewing machine and make a stitch. So can you see I'm done making a stitch over there? Now it's time to join the shoulders together. So I'm placing the shoulders right sides facing each other together with the turnings. So when I'm done placing them together, I'll turn it like this and I'll give it a top stitch. So just place it right sides facing each other like this, and then fold it. This way you will not have rough edges at the shoulder area. So I'm going to sew that and turn it to the right side. So when I was done, this is what I have on the shoulder area. So that's a very nice way of turning your shoulder. Now it's time to join both the front and the back together on the sides. So I'm just placing them right sides facing each other and arranging them, especially at the pocket area, So from that bust area, I'm going to take my measurements and I'm going to sew right down to the waist and also join the pocket area. So I'm basically just going to take my correct body measurement from that place where the armhole ended. So I'm just using my chalk to mark the areas which I'm going to sew. So just follow the leading of my chalk and my hand. So I'll sew from the chest area down to the waist to the pockets area, join it on the sides with about half an inch. Then I'll do the same thing on this other side. So when I was done and I turned it to the right side, this is what my play suit is looking like. So we are almost done here. The only thing that is left now is just to join these sleeves. So I have just a short sleeve here and I'm going to be joining it to both sides of this play suit. And after this we are done and the play suit is 100% ready. So as you can see, making a play suit like this is really easy. The next thing to do is just to give this a good press, and this was how my play suit looked on my mannequin. So for this particular play suit, I used 2 trouser lengths of material, and this was it when I put it on myself. Can you see how nice it is? So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also like this video and let me know if you find it helpful in the comment section. Bye.